The envelope that changed everything. The rain battered the windows of the old Georgian mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut, as Eleanor whispered from the doorway of her father's study. She bribed the doctor. Her voice, though soft, cut through the stillness like a blade. James Whittaker, CEO of Whittaker Enterprises and a titan of New England industry, froze, his pen hovering over a contract. The room, lined with oak shelves and framed photos of a life built on trust, seemed to hold its breath. "What did you say, Ellie?" he asked, not turning around. "I saw her, Dad. Vanessa." She handed Dr. Kessler an envelope in the garage. "Told him to rewrite your medical report. Said you're unfit to run the company." Eleanor's words trembled but held firm. James turned slowly, his reading glasses catching the lamplight. Behind him, the storm raged on, but inside, a different kind of tempest was brewing. Vanessa's voice floated from the hall, bright and practiced. "James, darling, ready for dinner?" She stopped short, seeing Eleanor, and her smile tightened. "Oh, Ellie, you're up late." "I couldn't sleep," Eleanor replied, clutching her phone. Vanessa's eyes narrowed, but she waved a hand. "James, let's not indulge teenage drama tonight." James raised a hand, his gaze fixed on his daughter. "You saw something, Ellie. Tell me." Swallowing hard, Eleanor recounted how she'd overheard Vanessa in the back seat of her car, instructing Dr. Kessler to falsify James's medical file with claims of cognitive decline. She said it'd give her leverage with the board, and she's been slipping pills into your coffee. James's hand shook as he set down his pen. Vanessa laughed, but it was brittle. "This is absurd, James. You're believing a child over me." Eleanor's voice grew steady. "I'm not a child. I'm your daughter." She held up her phone and played a recording. Vanessa's voice crackled through. "We'll say it's early-stage decline. Enough to raise concern. The board will need a new leader. If he resists, up the dosage." Dr. Kessler's reply followed. "You'll have it by Friday." Vanessa lunged. "That's illegal." "You can't." James stood, his face pale but resolute. "Pack your things, Vanessa. You're leaving. Now." Her mouth opened, but no words came. She glared at Eleanor, then stormed out. James turned to his daughter. "Go to bed, Ellie. I'll call my lawyer." She hesitated. "I'm staying. In case you forget what you heard." His eyes softened. "I won't forget." The next morning, the Whittaker estate was eerily quiet. Eleanor stood at the kitchen sink, pouring out her father's coffee, her hands trembling. Just in case. James emerged, his eyes clearer than they'd been in months. "You shouldn't have to do this," he said. She shrugged. "You taught me to protect what matters." He grabbed his coat. "Get your jacket. We're going to the hospital." At Greenwich Medical Center, the staff greeted James with deference, but Eleanor noticed their Anesia receptionist's trembling fingers, a nurse's fleeting glance. Something was off. In Dr. Kessler's office, the doctor feigned surprise. "Mr. Whittaker, I wasn't expecting you." James cut him off. "I want my file. The original." Kessler faltered. "That's not protocol." James played the recording. Kessler froze. Eleanor stepped forward. "You were going to let them destroy him." Under pressure, Kessler opened the records. The official report claimed early executive dysfunction, but a backup file, timestamped days earlier, showed James's cognitive health was pristine. "How much did she pay you?" James demanded. Kessler's voice was barely audible. $50,000. And a board seat at the Whittaker Foundation. Eleanor's voice was ice. "You sold his mind for a title." James towered over him. "Write a new report. The real one. Or lose your license." Kessler nodded, sweating. Back home, Eleanor found an old trunk in the attic, marked with her mother's initials, LW. Her mother, Laura, had died when Eleanor was a baby, leaving only stories and a void. Inside the trunk was a journal, a photo of Laura holding newborn Eleanor, and a note. "Truth matters more than anything. Trust your heart, my girl." The words hit Eleanor like a wave. Downstairs, James read the journal, his eyes misting. "Why did you trust Vanessa?" Eleanor asked. He sighed. "I didn't want to be alone. She made me feel needed until you showed me the truth." They sat in silence, the journal between them, a bridge to a mother Eleanor never knew. Days later, James called an emergency board meeting at Whittaker Enterprises' sleek Manhattan headquarters. The boardroom, with its glass walls and city views, buzzed with tension. Vanessa sat poised, sipping coffee, as if untouchable. "Mr. Whittaker," said board member Harold Crane, "why this urgent session?" James stood tall. This is about truth. A lie was spread about my fitness to lead. Vanessa interjected, her tone smooth. We've seen the medical report, James. No need for theatrics. Eleanor stepped forward, clutching her phone. That report was faked. I recorded Vanessa and Dr. Kessler planning it. She played the audio. Vanessa's voice filled the room. Increase the dosage. I want the board to see him as unreliable. Gasps echoed. Vanessa's smile faltered. She's a child. You're trusting her over a doctor. Eleanor met her gaze. You underestimated me. That was your mistake. James laid out the real report. Dr. Kessler has confessed. Legal action is pending. The board voted swiftly. James retained full control. Vanessa was ousted. She left in silence, her heels clicking like a fading threat. But Eleanor wasn't done. A cryptic letter arrived. Not from Vanessa, but her lawyer. Your mother's death wasn't an accident. The words burned. Eleanor dug deeper, finding a photo of her mother with a man she didn't recognize. A contact, former accountant Tom Hargrove, identified him as Victor Ramsey, Vanessa's old lawyer. James arranged a meeting with Dr. Ellen Harper, Laura's last doctor, in Baltimore. Harper's voice trembled. Vanessa came to the hospital under a false name, demanding Laura's records. I refused, but I was removed from her case days later. A medical directive, signed by a Dr. Kessler in 2012, surfaced, advising against reviving Laura during a cardiac event. Eleanor's heart raced. He was working with Vanessa even then. Back in Greenwich, Eleanor and Tom uncovered a shadow fund Vanessa had created, funneling Whitaker money through a fake vendor. Audio from Laura's old flash drive sealed it. Vanessa's voice, cold, instructing a doctor to ensure Laura's death. She didn't just steal a company, Eleanor whispered. She stole my mother. At Suffolk County Courthouse, the evidence was undeniable audio, financial records, sworn affidavits. Vanessa's defense crumbled. The judge ruled, criminal charges for fraud, medical tampering, and conspiracy are warranted. James Whitaker is reinstated as CEO. Vanessa was led away, her composure shattered. Outside, reporters swarmed, but Eleanor said only, my mother wasn't paranoid. She was right. Weeks later, Whitaker Enterprises held a town hall. Eleanor took the mic. Truth rises, doesn't it? This company isn't just about profit, no, it's about integrity. Applause thundered. She founded the Laura Whitaker Foundation to fight medical fraud, placing her mother's journal in a glass case. At the opening, she said, justice isn't loud, but it lasts. James squeezed her hand. You brought me back, Ellie. She smiled. You were never gone. They just tried to hide you. The Whitaker home glowed with new peace, not silence, but healing. Eleanor sat by the fire, her mother's words in her heart. She hadn't just saved a legacy, she'd claimed her own. Vanessa's shadow was gone, and the truth stood tall. What did you think of Eleanor's fight against betrayal and injustice? Do you believe standing up to corruption, even at personal cost, is worth it? Share your thoughts in the comments, especially on how we confront greed and deceit in our own lives. Your perspective matters.